Hey everyone, it's Wowous. We're here with a Hearthstone card review. We're going to go through the Saviors of Uldum cards. We did two videos earlier as cards have been coming out, so we've already gone up to Tip the Scales. If you want to watch those videos, we'll put descriptions or links down in the description below. But otherwise, we're going to go through the cards, kind of give you some thoughts around them. We'll start right here with Anka. Anka the Buried's a 5/5, 5 cost, battle cry, change each death rattle minion in your hand into a 1/1 that costs 1. Now, I think Anka has a lot of potential playability if you can build a deck around her. If you get the right death rattle minions, you essentially want death rattles that are more powerful. Their death rattle is more powerful than the minion. You don't want to use this on necessarily a 10 drop, although there are some times where a more powerful minion has a really good death rattle. But in general, I think they're going to be you want to be very strategic about which death rattles you have in your hand at this point. This is a very late game option, and it's something you have to build your deck around. But I see some potential with it. Here, moving on to Arcane Flak Mage. This is a rare mage, 2 cost, 3/2. After you play a secret, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. This is a much needed wave clear for Mage. Mage, especially Secret Mage, typically doesn't carry with it a lot of wave clear. And so especially late game, you're going to need, essentially for it to be turn 5, for you to drop this plus at least 1 Secret. It probably is better if you can drop 2 when it's turn 8, because then it's essentially a Flame Strike. I think that's a good option, especially for what it is. In Secret Mage, it's an almost must play. So I think this is going to see a lot of play for Mage, essentially. Cloud Prince, if a Battle Cry, if you control a secret, deal 6 damage. Again, another nice option. 4/4 at 5 isn't great, but that's dealing 6 damage is excellent, especially where you can control where that damage is going. So I think both of these cards have a lot of playability in Secret Mage right now. Splitting Axe, we've got a Epic Shaman weapon, 4 cost, 3/2, Battle Cry, summon copies of your totems. The Battle Cry to me is not superb, but that being said, if you have out 2 or 3 of these totems when you drop this, you fill your board with totems. There are obviously some totems, like the ones that you drop from your hand, that are better than the ones that you just sort of get at random. But I don't think this is going to break the game, but I think it's a nice utility option for a shaman. I think we'll just see probably more play in Arena than anything else, though. World Kick Master. Whenever you play a combo card, add a random combo card to your hand. 2 cost, 1/2. Not a bad card. The rogues right now are playing a lot of combos. This combos nicely with it, literally. So I think it's a good option if you're playing a combo deck. I don't see why you wouldn't want to play that, to be honest. Hook Scimitar combo game plus 2 attack. That's a good option here. 3 drop, 2/2 that essentially becomes a 4/2. That's a pretty strong weapon for a rogue. And in comboing it's pretty easy, especially as you get into a little bit of later game. But even with a coin or something, it's pretty easy to do. Tortelian Pilgrim. Discover a copy of a spell in your deck and cast it with random targets. 8 drop, 5/5. Now, where would this card be helpful? Well, if you're playing a mage deck with secrets, obviously that would be good because it's not going to target anything. It's just going to cast it. You are discovering it, so you have an option between 3. Things like Flame Strike, Blizzard are all good choices. Any sort of wave clear, anything that doesn't target a specific enemy. So, Pyro is fun, but if you're targeting a random, 10 damage somewhere, you could hit this guy, and that's not going to be great as an 8 drop. But if you have the deck built around this, and you don't have anything that's going to target a specific minion, and everything kind of targets all of the enemies or that sort of thing, I think you're going to see a lot of success. This seems like it's going to be a good mage card that's going to annoy the crap out of everybody. Mogu Cultist. Battle Cry. If your board is full of Mogu Cultists, sacrifice them all and summon Highkeeper Ra. Highkeeper Ra right here you see is a 10 drop 20/20 that deals 20 damage to all minions at the end of your turn. It's nice if you can make it work. I don't know that that's going to be very realistic. There's only a handful of ways to make copies of cards in the game. I don't know that it's going to be feasible to get out that many copies of this. But if you can, it's a very, very powerful card. I just think it's a nearly impossible thing to actually accomplish in the middle of a game. After your hero takes damage on your turn, summon a random 3-cost minion. 4 drop, 3/5. This is a good option, I think, for Warlock. You know, at that 4-drop spot, there's not a whole lot right now. It's a 3/5 is good, and you're gonna take damage. So creating more minions is gonna be, I think, a good choice. I can see Warlock playing this quite a bit. Let's see the Ritualist here. Battle Cry, restore adjacent minions to full health. That has its uses, right? If you're playing like a priest deck, for example, that has a really high health minion that you're trying to interfere, this could see that kind of use there, but it's going to be used very specifically. I don't know that it's worth the deck spot, though, to be honest. Into the Fray, give all taunt minions in your hand +2/+2. I think this is a great warrior card. Warrior's playing right now a lot of taunts, especially if you build around a taunt deck. That's like an almost must play. Let's see, a 9-drop, 9/6, which isn't the best. A 9/6 is not a particularly great stat line. I'd rather have a 6/9. Give all minions in your hand +3/+3 death rattle. This is a good option, I think, for a very late game play, especially if you have some way to like discover this. I think that's good. But it's not a broken card, right? It's a common. It's probably not going to see a ton of play overall. It's a very, very late game choice. But I can see some decks, if you build around kind of upgrading your minions, you might be able to make something happen with that. Infested Goblin, a taunt, death rattle, add 2 1/1 scares the taunt to your hand, 3-drop 2/3. I think this is the much needed taunt minion that's going to be out in this next year and a half. So we went from Stonehill Defender and Tar Creeper to there really isn't a must-play taunt right now. I think this Infested Goblin may be it. It gives you a taunt. It gives you more taunts when it dies. It's a 2/3, which is good enough. I'd like it to be a 3/5 or something like that, but a 2/3 is pretty decent for a 3-drop. For a 3-drop, that's a lot of value. That's going to get played a ton. This is going to be, I think, one of the biggest cards in this expansion. Frightened Flunky. Here, 2-drop, 2/2, taunt, battle cry, discover taunt minion. Again, another great choice if you're playing a taunt deck. An almost must play in a taunt deck, I would say. Pressure Plate, a new secret for Hunter. Secret, after your opponent casts a spell, destroy a random enemy minion. I think that's actually really good. That's actually better than most of the Hunter ones right now. I'd rather play this than Snipe, to be honest. Especially it's going to kill it. I think that's a great choice. It will get through Divine Shields and all that sort of stuff too. So this, I think, is a really great one. I'm surprised it's not a rare, to be honest. Wasteland Assassin, Stealth 4/2 Reborn. That Stealth and Reborn together, I don't know is the best option. I mean, I guess right when it gets reborn, it will stealth itself again, so you'll end up with a 4/1. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I can't see you keeping this around very long on that low health, though. High Priest Amet. Let's see, he's a legendary. Whenever you summon a minion, set its health equal to this minion's. Now, this would have to combo with all the sort of priest cards that are going to increase its health. So, doubling your health, +2 to your health, the sort of inner fire mechanics. You are going to need to do this to High Priest Amet. And I think in reality, you're going to need to wait until later in the game. You don't want to drop him down turn 4 and have him get killed. You need to almost keep him until like turn 7, 8, 9, 10 until you can drop him, throw some spells on him, and even potentially cast whatever the other creature is that you want to get going. I think of the light, whatever his name is, the 5/5 priest card. He's the one that I would combo with him. But again, you're not going to get him up much health. Maybe get him up to a 14/14 win one turn with the right cards. Potentially a good option. I think, again, if you're playing that sort of priest archetype that's really popular right now, this is what's going to combo well with it. And actually, both the priest cards that we've talked about, well, this other card that could be used for priest, I think these both work well for that sort of deck. Generous Mummy, Reborn, your opponent's cards cost 1 less. That's terrible. Don't do that. Grand Mummy, Reborn, Death Rattle. Give a random friendly minion +1/+1. Not a bad choice, because it gets reborn, so it's essentially a +2/+2 to some other random minion. You're going to be playing it early as a 1/2/2 drop. Not a terrible choice, especially if you can combo it with something like an Infested Goblin, right? So overall, not a bad choice. Colossus of the Moon, a Divine Shield, 10/10/10 reborn. It's going to be annoying to kill, but it's not particularly special, right? Like, that's not a super... Well, I guess, well, the Divine Shield comes back up when it gets reborn, but it's at 1 health. There's just too many ways, I think, to remove this. Like, I think this is too easy. I would silence this if you can, and kill it, that sort of thing. I don't know. It's going to be, I think, annoying if somebody drops one on you, but not impossible. You just got to have some sort of removal to take care of it. Destroy all damaged minions. That's a good card, especially for Warrior play. Wrath, that will see a lot of use. Sunstruck, Henchman, at the start of your turn has 50% chance to fall asleep. What does that mean? I don't know. I guess it just can't attack or whatever. Hack the system. Alright, Warrior Quest. Attacks 5 times your hero, and you get this. After a 4/3 golem, or summon a 4/3 golem, after your hero attacks, refresh this. Yeah, that's fine. It's nothing... You know, it's going to be annoying to play against, but it's not broken. It's just good. I think that's fine. I think that if you're playing Warrior, that's a pretty good card. Especially when you think about comboing this with the different Warrior weapons that are being used right now, right? Like, Warrior has a lot of good weapons right now. This on top of, you know, you have this, and you have Dr. Boom, and you've got all the Warrior legendaries, plus a very strong set of cards so far. Warrior is going to be tough to beat, I think, in this next expansion. Plague of Flames, 1 drop, destroy all your minions. For each one, destroy a random enemy minion. So this is sort of a trade-off. Again, if you build the deck around it, that's fine. If you have the sort of, if you can take out more high-cost minions with it, that's great. It's going to be a little bit annoying with Reborn and a lot of these things coming back to life, especially if your enemy has them. But I can see this being used in some Warlock decks. Alright, let's see the Defender here. Taunt. Cost 0 if you've cast a spell that costs 5 or more this turn. It's a 3/5/5 drop, though. Like, will it see a lot of use? Probably. I think there's just so many high-cost cards that it just makes sense to play. Yeah, I think it's pretty good, actually. 7 drop here. Overflow. Restore 5 health to all characters. Draw 5 cards. That's fine. I mean, restoring health is always good, especially that it's doing it to everyone. And then drawing 5 cards is obviously great. So not a bad 7. I don't know that it's like broken or going to see a ton of use, but it's good. And especially in some of the kind of the decks that go on and on and on, this is a card that you're probably going to want in it. Micro Mummy, Reborn at the end of your turn. Give another friendly minion +1 attack. I think that's fine. It's going to get killed pretty quickly, but... you know, the Reborn will keep it alive a little bit longer. It'll be annoying to play against as a Paladin. I think we'll see some use as in, you know, in those Paladin decks that are really trying to build up the Silverhand recruits. This could be really powerful early on. Livewire Lance. We've got a Warrior weapon here. After your hero attacks, add a Lackey to your hand. I don't think it's as good as the other Warrior cards that are out right now, especially at 2/2. But Lackeys are good, but I don't know that that's better than any of the other weapons that you can choose right now. Desert Spear is a hunter weapon. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 Locust with Rush. That's annoying. That will definitely see use in Rush sort of hunter decks. Dark Pharaoh, Takan. For the rest of the game, your lackeys are 4/4. That's an interesting mechanic. That I think you could actually play around with and maybe do something interesting with. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun, actually. Lifesteal, 2/2 Villain Fiend. Yeah, it's a demon, so that's nice. It has some playability with that. I'd prefer this if it was a beast, but what can you do? Mortuary Machine, 5 cost 8/8. Give after your opponent plays a minion, give it Reborn. That's never good. Don't do that. Don't play that card. That's not going to end well for you. Choose a minion. Shuffle 3 shadows into your deck. That summon a copy when drawn. Cast when drawn. Summon a 0. I'm trying to think of like how this could be used. I don't know. I can't think of some way that you could like break this right now, but that's an interesting card. That's a card that I think you may see someone, build an effective deck around. I just can't think of like what you could combo this with that would make this more broken, but there's got to be a way to make this broken. Bone Wraith, taunt, reborn, 2/5, 4-drop. That's not a bad taunt. I mean, the cost is expensive as a 4-drop, but especially if you're trying to stop people from getting through, that guy will do it. Pharaoh Cat, a 1-drop rogue card, 1/2 beast. Add a random reborn minion into your hand. Yeah, sure. As a 1-drop, it's good. 2 Morden, taunt. Battlecry, summon a copy of this minion. So you get 2 3/6s at turn 8. It's a little bit. I mean, it's good for a warrior deck, right? That's just trying to get minions down, especially after a brawl or something. But at turn 8, they're probably gonna have something that can kill a 3/6 pretty easily. 1 cost, embalming ritual, give a minion reborn. I can see that being helpful in a lot of different decks in a lot of different ways for priest. Pharaoh's Blessing, give a minion +4/+4, Divine Shield and Taunt. That's a great card. That's like, I think for a paladin, that card really does it all. That's going to make some sort of minion super powerful. And all you need is a Silverhand Recruit, and you got a 5/5 Divine Shield Taunt. So that card I think will see a lot of play. Conjured Mirage, Taunt. At the start of your turn, shuffle this minion into your deck. So essentially it can block for 1 turn. You can get some playability with, especially if you're trying to fatigue the other player. Potentially you can keep that rotating through your deck and never get fatigued. So maybe if you can keep it alive, it would be great. Flame Ward, Secret Mage. After a minion attacks your hero, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. That's pretty good. That's better than the Hunter one that does 2 damage, Explosive Trap. Yeah, I think that's a cool secret. I'm surprised that these secrets are both commons. Normally they're like rares or epics, I felt like. But that's actually, in my opinion, both these secrets are really good that they've shown so far. Seamat, Battlecry. Gain 2 of Rush, Taunt, Divine Shield, or Wind Fury. Your choice. I like how you can choose, right? He's more powerful in theory than... Let's think about this. So if you give him Rush and Divine Shield, he doesn't have Lifesteal. I'm thinking of Ziliax, right, and how he compares. But for a late game option, I think this is actually really good. He can take out a lot. I think actually this will see a lot of use because of the versatility of it. It's one of the more versatile cards that have come out, and it's an elemental on top of that, so it has some playability with elemental decks. Sakit Sepper. Return a random enemy minion to your opponent's hand. That's good if you know there's only 1 minion down and you know which one's going back. Otherwise, it could be disastrous. So, I don't know. Maybe could be good if you can time it well. King Pharos. Battlecry. For each spell in your hand, summon a minion of the same cost. That could be fun in like a mage deck with a lot of spells. Especially if you have a bunch of high-cost spells or maybe even a druid deck. I see some potential with that if you build your deck around it. Karut Defender, 6-drop 3/4, Taunt, Reborn, Death Rattle, restore 3 health to your hero. It's a lot of healing, right? Because you're gonna get back that health each time it's reborn. I think it could see some use. It's a decent rare. It's a 6-drop. Battlecry, destroy a friendly minion, then return it to life with full health. Yeah, I can see some use for that in a priest deck, especially. If you have something that normally has a lot of health, but it's down pretty low, to be able to bring it back like that could be useful. Rat Golem Reborn. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Scarab with Taunt. This is good because it's going to take a while to get through to it, right? So, it's not my favorite card. I don't love these like sort of 7/5 cards, but I really do like. I mean, it's Reborn, so it's going to come back to life. You're getting that free Scarab each turn to taunt block. So I think it could be useful. But again, it depends on the deck that you're playing. Alright, activate the Obelisk. Restore 15 health. And then you get restore 3 health. If you target a minion, also give it +3/+3. Now that's sick. Anybody that's played Priest knows if you can get that done. Now, 15 health is using, well, it would be using your hero power 8 times, but you can also get health the other different ways with spells and whatnot. So I think this actually will be really powerful in Priest. It actually may bump Priest up to a top tier deck. Bizarre Burglary. Alright, so add 4 cards from other classes to your hand, which is pretty simple to do with Rogue. That's most of what Rogue is doing right now. Reward Ancient Blades. Equip a 3/2 blade with immune while attacking, which is the Mirage Blade, right? That's pretty decent. It's better than the the immune plus the better attack is well worth it. I would say I don't know why you wouldn't play that if you have the ability to, if your deck is already doing that, where it's stealing cards or creating cards from other classes, throw that in. You might as well. Penance, Lifesteal, do 3 damage to a minion. It's kind of weak, to be honest, at a 2-drop. I don't know that it's worthwhile to use. Holy Ripple, deal 1 damage to all enemies, restore 1 health doll from the characters. Now that works well with that quest, right? Yeah, I think it's good. And if you get some sort of spell damage on top of it, you're really going to be doing damage. You're going to be wave clearing big time. Discover a Lackey, that's going to work well with the quest to put down some lackeys and whatnot, right? To do that quest, you need to put down lackeys. Oh no, it's this. It's not the quest. It's the Dark Pharaoh there. He combos well with that. Taunt. Let's see. Battlecry. Deal 3 damage to this minion. I'm not a huge fan of that. Maybe if you're playing Priest, but I don't think it's going to see a lot of play. 1 cost, 1/2. Battlecry. Give a friendly minion +2 health. That's kind of basic. I don't think AB's going to play that. 5 costs, 5/5. At the end of your turn, restore 5 health to a damage friendly character. So this is a light welded attacks, basically, right? So, yeah, maybe. In a Priest deck, sure. Anything that you can do some decent damage with and attack with and heal with is good. Reborn has +2 damage, will attack while damage is good if you can get its health up, but I don't think you will, so I wouldn't play it. Serpent's Egg, summon a 3/4 serpent. There's better eggs, right? But a sea serpent, I mean, is it a beast or anything? It's a beast. So maybe in some beast decks, but the egg isn't a beast. I don't know. It's not anything special. Neferset, Thrasher, whenever this attacks, deal 3 damage to your hero. Oh, that works well with the quest. The quest you have to damage yourself, so yeah, that might be useful. Battlecry, summon in 1/1 Locust with Rush. I don't know. I mean, the Murloc card, I think, is better, right? That's the 2/1. It's the opposite, where the 2/1 is the rush, and then the other, it drops a 1/1. I think I'd rather that than this. Candle Taker, Reborn, 3/2. That's a very common card. Nothing exciting about it. Zephyrus the Great. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, wish for the perfect card. Okay. Oh, I think I read this is the one that, like, it basically tries to guess what your deck needs, right? We'll see how that goes. Blizzard has some interesting ideas about what your deck needs, so I wouldn't trust it too much. Discover or choose 1 card. Yeah, that might be okay. Ancient Mysteries, draw a secret from your deck at cost 0. Yeah, if you're playing a secret deck, that could be a good draw mechanic. Sorry. Rush. Choose 1, gain +2/+2, or summon a copy of this minion. If you get both down, if you get you can choose both, that's even better. Crystal Merchant, if you have any unspent mana at the end of the turn, draw a card. It's an interesting mechanic. I think it could be good if if you have a deck that needs draw early. You could drop 2 of those in and potentially get card draw pretty easily, because not very much can kill a 1/4 on turn 2 or 3. After you cast a spell, add a random mage minion to your hand. Well, the mage minions unfortunately aren't very good, but there are some good ones. Like, you could end up with Archmage, or who else is really good? There are like a handful of mage minions that are good, but it's not broken. But I think it's a decent card for a 3-drop 3/3. Battlecry, discover a 4-cost card. And it's a nice ramp, right? Like, you drop that turn 3, and then you're going to get something turn 4, but I don't know. It's a 2/2 3-drop. I don't know that people are going to go out of their way to play this over something like this. Unseal the Vaults. This is the Hunter quest. Summon 20 minions, and you get give your minions +2 attack. So this is really for a swarm deck. If you can build a swarm deck around this, by all means do it. Seems good. Lifesteal, Reborn, 4/2. Yeah, the question is really going to be, can you get any damage out before he dies with a 2 health and then he reborn for 1 health? I think it's going to be too easy to kill. Subdue, set a minion's attack and health to 1. That's fine. That's like an opposite of... wasn't there a card that did this before? I don't remember, but that's fine. Might be useful. Skipped a card. Octosari, draw 8 cards. I don't know. This seems kind of like a useless... I mean, it's... By the time you get this down, right, you're either going to have a lot of cards in your hand, or you have no cards in your hand, but it's going to be late game. I don't know that drawing 8 cards is ever going to be a great idea, unless you have some sort of thing that you need to draw the cards. I'm just not a huge fan of drawing 8 cards like that, at least 10, you're talking about probably 8, 9, 10 turns into the game. You're talking about drawing really the last third of your deck with this. And if you have any number of cards in your hand, you can't, I always seem to have more than 1 card in my hand. Unless your hand's empty, this isn't going to be super useful, so I wouldn't go out of my way to play that. Swarm of Locusts, summon 7/1/1 Locusts with Rush. Yeah, that's going to be annoying. That's going to be a good hunter card to play against. Battle Cry, summon 2 1/1 Desert Hares. I guess it's just a good beast card, right? It's just annoying. It's more this swarm mentality for Hunter, which is going to be the way they're going to go this expansion. Clever Disguise, add 2 random spells from another class to your hand. That's good. That helps with the quest for sure. Vicina? Well, you're overloaded. Your other minions have +2 attack. That's good if you can overload. There's not really many overload cards. Have there been any? There's one right here. They really haven't. There hasn't been very many overload cards. Most of them are the ones that have been overload cards since the start. But if you're playing an overload deck, that's a really good option, actually. Mogu Flesh Shaper. Rush. Costs 1 less for each minion on the battlefield. So he's 7 drops, so if he had 4... I don't know. I mean, to have that many minions, he needs to be like basically a 3/4 drop in essentially to be useful, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe. Sandstorm Elemental Battlecry, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions, overload 1. That's okay. It's a good wave clear, especially against stuff like this. Okay, Mischief Maker, Battlecry, swap the top card of your deck with your opponent's. That's annoying. That's going to be really annoying. I'll probably play that just to annoy people. 10/10 Willy Monument Taunt. It's just a big beast. I don't know that you need that ever. Pick Crocolisk, Battlecry, deal 5 damage. That's actually not terrible. For an 8-drop beast, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. Probably better in Arena. Poisonous 3/9, that's annoying. A 7-drop poisonous that you can barely kill, but you just gotta find some removal to get rid of it. Blatant Decoy, Death Rattle. Each player summons the lowest cost minion from their hand, so it's just a crappy dirty rat essentially. You'd have to build something around that to make that work. You'd have to want that to happen. Taunt, Battlecry, double this minion's health. A 3/6 is not particularly great, but if you can get it like, if you can come up with some of those cards that are like, give all your minions in your hand +2/+2. Now all of a sudden you're cooking. You combo that with some of these priest inner fire type things, and you're gonna do a lot of damage. Phalanx Commander, your taunt minions have +2 attack. It's good in the taunt deck, obviously. Battlecry, discover a friendly minion that died this game and shuffle it into your deck. There's better cards though, right? Like discovering a minion shuffling into your deck is not as helpful as discovering a minion that died and putting it into your hand or putting it back into play, like some of the other cards can do. It's kind of like a weaker version of that, which I guess goes back to what we talked about, the class identities thing that they talked about. This sort of is giving you the way, the priest decks can do they can discover a minion that died, that sort of stuff. This is kind of like a watered down version of it. I would never play this card. If you want to do that, just play a priest deck. History buff. Whenever you play a minion, give a random minion your hand +1/+1. He's annoying. He probably will see some play. Battle Cry, discover a spell or pick a mystery choice. Add a random spell to your hand. Um, so you probably have to discover a spell or pick a mystery choice. My question would be, did they give you the option of discover versus mystery choice first, or did they give you the 3 spells and then say, or take a mystery choice? Either way, not super broken, but a decent 3-drop. Quicksand Elemental, give all enemy minions -2 attack this turn. That could be good. We don't see very many of those cards except for in pre-stack, so I think that may be the first common that does that to, or the first, not common, the first neutral that does that to everyone. Cobalt Sandtrooper, deal 3 damage to enemy hero. It's a death rattle. I don't know. I don't think you would use that over some of the other stuff that's out there at that drop. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to another friendly minion. No. Not unless you're trying to cause your own damage. I would avoid playing that. Dwarven Archaeologist, after you discover a card, reduces cost by 1. That's probably not worth doing. Whenever your hero attacks, gain 5 armor. That might be good for a turn or 2, but it's probably going to die. But, if you have enough attack with a warrior deck, if you have enough weapons, you could make use of that. Give your totems +2 attack. That's fine if you got enough totems, if you're playing like a totem deck. Naga Sandwich, Battlecry, change the cost of spells in your hand to 5. That can be good in a big spell deck, but again, most of the stuff that's come out for Mage right now is secrets. Like, there aren't any big spells in this expansion. So I don't know why, unless you're changing a Flame Strike or a Pyro, I don't know that it's super useful on its own. Hyena Alpha, if you summon if you control a secret, summon 2/2/2 hyenas. That's really good value. 4-drop 3/3 with 2/2s. That's a lot of cards for a hunter to drop if you get that secret down. So that's a good card. Wild Tamer here. Battlecry, copy a random beast in your hand. Yeah, they'll probably see some use in beast stacks. If you can play that right, you could do a lot. Garden Gnome, if you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, summon 2/2/2 Treants. Again, that's good value, because Druids are almost always going to have that card in hand, something that costs more than 5, and 2/2 Treants is the name of the game when you're playing Druid, is to keep as many minions on the board as possible. That's how you win with any of those sort of Druid decks, like Token Druid, right? Is you just want to keep as many minions down as possible, so this is a good way to do it. So some good cards here at the very end. Overall, I think the power level of this expansion is good. It's strong. There's a number of must-have cards for certain deck archetypes. I think Priest is going to end up being very powerful. I think Warrior is going to continue to be powerful. I think Mage will see a resurgence. I think Hunter Swarm will be popular still. It's pretty much Hunter's almost always popular, but they're shifting it back from mech towards beasts. And then I think Warlock has some interesting choices. I don't think the Paladin stuff is all that super. And just kind of looking through this stuff quickly, the Shaman I don't think is like broken or is going to see any huge swing in play. I think you're going to see a lot of the same decks, to be honest. These cards, a lot of them add on to what's already being done. That being said, people find ways to break the meta. There are going to be cards that, like, what do we talk about? There's certain cards that, like the Shadow of Death card, I don't get it, but there's got to be a way to make this work. There's got to be a way to make some of these cards work, some of these quests work, some of the obelisk we talked about in a previous video. If you can make some of these cards work and you can find a way, you can win the game. And that's how people play, right? Like that's what the people who create these decks really figure out, as a way to make some of these cards that you wouldn't think work. So I think it's an exciting expansion. I'll tell you, I'm not planning on pre-ordering this. I'm going to use just some gold I have to buy packs. I pre-purchased the last couple of expansions, and all in all, I don't think it was worth the value, right? So I whether you spend the $79.99 US on 80 packs or you spend the $49.99 on 50, to me, it's not worth it right now. I'm willing to buy a lot of packs with gold. I'm willing to play every day to get that gold to buy more packs. And yes, I'll consider pre-ordering the next expansion. But for me, right now, looking at the cards, looking at everything, I have almost 10,000 dust. I have just over 8,000 gold. I have the ability to get the packs I need and the dust I need. But if you are someone who maybe is getting started and really has the money to spend on the game, I don't think it's terrible to get. I would probably do the 50 pack thing for $49.99 as opposed to the 80 pack thing. But otherwise, I think you're okay just kind of doing gold and pick a couple of deck types here. I think priest again, warrior. If you haven't, I would wait. Obviously, don't craft anything right now. Don't craft anything the first couple of days the expansion's out. Wait to see what the archetypes become. But we knew almost immediately after the last expansion came out that warrior was the way to go. So I went in and crafted all of those warrior legendaries that you need, because that's really one of the strongest decks right now. Previous to that, I was playing Mech Hunter, right? So like those decks are still good. You can still play Mech Hunter in this meta against some of these other decks. And now Priest has come on really strong right at the end here. So hopefully this is helpful to you. If you're interested, definitely check out my other videos. If you'd like to see more Hearthstone, definitely leave a comment below if there's something that you'd like to see. I look forward. I'll do a pack opening next week, this week. It comes out this week. Probably midweek I'll throw up when I get my packs, and hopefully you enjoy this expansion. Again, don't craft anything too soon. Save your dust until you can figure out what the meta is going to settle on, and then be really strategic about what legendaries you craft from this expansion. So because you're going to need some of these quests, because these quests again are going to be played for the next year and a half, and some of these legendaries you're going to use for the next year and a half until December 2020. So you've got to be really thoughtful about which ones you craft. So hopefully you enjoyed this content. If you do, please leave a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it so much. Thanks.